thought, but for whatever reason, maybe red tape, or they haven't spent the money, or maybe it's just the historical nature of their brand, haven't been able to become buzzed about them. So they ask us to help them figure that out. How do they get to where they are today to being something relevant? I think of State Farm, right? State Farm, we worked with them, started about 7 years ago. They used to be like grandpa's insurance agency. Today, while they're still not, I would say, the level of Geico, they are definitely more relevant. And so we help draw that plan out. How do you get there? What are the things you need to do? And then execute on those ideas so that they are relevant, authentic inside youth culture. In other words, people will accept them. And I feel like we have this world around us where we're all marketing smarts, and we all get it. I know you're trying to sell me something. You're trying to get me to buy your good or do some sort of action. And anymore, it's not really about, I guess, former marketing, I would say, is about tricking them into it, sort of blindly leading them into what you want to do. Now, it's much more of a convincing task. And so either you're in or you're out, right? And so either you are listening to the brands, you've made the decision that, yes, I listen to these brands, I accept what they say to a degree, and they're inside my circle, my friend circle, or inside youth culture, or they're not, and you're out, and it's a much, for them to get inside. It's just like anything they say is just irrelevant to me right away. And so those are the borders we try to break down. We are based here in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is kind of a weird place to do what we do, to be honest with you, because we work with a lot of national and international programs. But we love being here. It's just sort of worked out for us, and we're going to talk about that. We can talk more about that. There's 33 of us now, and it's a wide variety of backgrounds: architecture, advertising, graphic design, social design, social development, animation, product design, a little bit of everything, honestly. We try to hire problem solvers because I think that's why people hire us. And so in doing so, they come with a big question, we need to answer that, and so I look for problem solvers, and I really don't care about the background. Maybe you were an architect, maybe you were a designer, a graphic designer. It doesn't really matter to me. Do you solve problems? That's what I'm interested in. So that's how we've built our team. I'll give you one idea. Some of you may be familiar with the work, others you may not be. I'll just give you one example of it because I won't go through the whole dog and pony show, just to give you some sense. A project we just literally wrapped this not too long ago. It's a project for Red Bull, and it was pretty awesome.
Red Bull always does something awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
So they come to us with a problem. They say, hey, we want to be buzzed about it at a certain point in time. This is very into college students globally. So Red Bull Can You Make It is this epic challenge. All right? And the idea was that we gathered 100 teams of college students from around the world, and they came through different submissions. We took these teams and we dropped them off around Europe, okay? Different points, London, Madrid, different points around Europe. They had 7 days, these 3 college students, these 100 teams, had 7 days to make it to Berlin. Now here's the catch. They had no money, they had no personal devices, we took everything from them. The only thing we gave them were cans of Red Bull, which they had then to exchange for transportation, food, shelter, adventure. 7 days, can you make it to Berlin? That was it. I'll play this video because I think it does a nice job. Audio in this room.
Yeah, should be.
There's adventure in all of us. A desire to explore.
kind of project. Now, these teams had different checkpoints to make, and if they made a certain checkpoints, then in different cities, we gave them another case of Red Bull, almost Amazing Race style. We did give them a Motorola phone that we controlled, so if there's an emergency, they could use it. But mostly it was to use to capture social content, all their videos, which they would then upload. The more likes they got, the more followers, more support, almost Hunger Games style, allowed them to get more cans at the next checkpoint. So the social content that came out of this was amazing. It was so epic and awesome. We did this as a test run with the group just to film this promo. And they literally did everything in the promo video, plus way more. 3 teams actually got onto flights to the next checkpoint. Yeah, it blew my mind. Another team took a yacht around Spain, which is amazing. Team from Guatemala had never seen snow before, and they took it through Austria, and they were doing this huge snowball fight. You know, they'd never even seen snow before. So like all these stories that just came out of this thing. I was in Berlin when they all arrived. The vibe and the thing was just amazing. We say in this video, for the adventure of a lifetime, and I can honestly promise you, I've never felt that marketing was more accurate. They literally, these students, they had the adventure of a lifetime. And and the social chatter that came from it, we owned the conversation for a while. So that's the kind of projects we do. You know, Red Bull challenges us and tasks us to come up with something. We do the idea, we do the execution, which is all the design, the materials and everything, and then we do the event. And as you can imagine, there's a lot of logistics. So we got, in this case, we had four people lodged up in Berlin for 2 weeks. We're editing recap videos every night. You know, it's an ongoing thing. So that's the kind of stuff we do. I can talk about other projects, but let's talk more about business stuff and the things you guys want to talk about. Questions for me? Directions? We want to talk about? Yeah.
I've heard the story from other people, but like, can you talk about how you guys got started?
Yeah. So we started, it was myself and one other guy, business partner Charlie, and we started an architecture school. We're going through the program over there. Somewhere along the way I realized that the field of architecture had this real hierarchy, and I didn't want to submit myself to that. In other words, I don't want to pay the dues for 10 years and then finally design something cool. Now, later on I look back, you know, it's a bit of a naive thought, but that's all it took for me to say, I'm out. And so I love the degree, I love the program, but I was restless in that way. So I also went and got a degree at advertising at the same time. I saw advertising as an opportunity to have impact faster. I thought that young ideas would be accepted more there. And so the blend of the 2 disciplines came together, and that created our Tribal, which is a holistic look at marketing. It's 360, it's everything. And that's why we have stuff that's digital and real world, because we're thinking about it in those terms. Thinking about advertising and thinking about architecture still, you know, even till today. So we came out of the gate, we started an architecture school. I would say that our first couple of years felt like a freelance business. We were basically freelancing our services. We could do some things technology-wise that other architects couldn't at the time, so we started with that. We had something to offer. Ultimately, our goal was to be a design firm. So that's, but no one hires two broke kids out of college. Like, no one does that. And so we had to have something in the market that people could do and hire us for, and so it was a freelance business. I'll be honest with you in saying that I thought about going to graduate school, and so did Charlie, but ultimately we're like, why don't we just do this for a couple of years? We'll do our Tribal. We'll do this for 2 years. It's the equivalent of doing graduate program. Franklin will probably pay as much money because we're not going to make anything, right? So, but the experience we'll get will allow us to go get real jobs later. And after those couple of years were up, we were having so much fun, you know? I mean, we were broke. We were right about that. But we were having so much fun, and we believed so much in what we were doing that we said, screw it, let's do it again. Let's do it for another year. And every year for the first 5 years, we evaluated and said, do we want to keep going? And the answer was yes. And so the business grew around that. Now, over time, we were able to move from the things we were doing to convincing people to hire us for our design talents and our artistic talents. That took some time. There's a real bias in the marketplace, and maybe fairly just, that we had no experience. And that's the eternal problem. How do you get experience if they don't hire you for it? So I had to convince people. Yeah, that's what I had to do. So there you go. There's the 2-minute version of it. Other questions? Thoughts?
Someone would say that you're looking for somebody who's like a problem solver when you're hiring them. What do you mean by like they're a problem solver? Like, you know, somebody who is good at math can solve a math problem pretty easily. You know, from a business perspective, I don't deal a lot with problem solving necessarily, but I do at the same time.
Yeah, I think if you're in business, you're a problem solver. I think your job as manager of business, CEO of business, whatever it is basically one problem solving after another. Because that's all you'll be confronted with. What's the next business problem? What's the next business problem? So you constantly solve it. So even if it's not where you intend to go, it's what your job ultimately becomes.
Yeah. What I
That
think when you
said-
say that is like a very analytical person.
Yeah, so to address that part of the question, no, I mean a person who looks at the big picture
Okay.
and says, what's the real problem going on? So someone comes to us and says, we're not selling enough goods, okay? I've used this example before because I think it's clear, but, so, there's a real problem in the way that marketing, I think agencies are structured now. And that is, it's all around not solving problems. So, let me pose to you this question. So, you own a business, you sell widgets, you show up, or you're working your business, you're not selling enough, I wanna sell more widgets. Who do you hire to help you? Who's your partner? If you hire the advertising agency, what are they gonna do? They're gonna advertise for you. So they're gonna say, you wanna sell more widgets? You gotta advertise about your widgets. And so we'll help you craft a marketing plan. We're gonna put it in magazines, and TV, and radio, and all this good stuff. If you go to the design agency, they're gonna say, oh, you want some widgets? We're gonna give you a brand new look and feel. Create some great in-store signage for you, right? It's gonna look amazing. We'll maybe give you a new name, new logo, okay? If you go hire the architecture firm, another creative agency, they're gonna say, oh, you wanna sell more widgets? Well, we gotta build you a new store. You know, this store sucks, so let's build you a brand new store. We're gonna gut everything, and I sell you that. You hire the interactive agency, they tell you gotta be on e-commerce. That's where you gotta sell widgets. You hire the social media agency, they tell you gotta sell on Instagram, right? So depending on who you hire, you could ask the question, are they really solving the problem? Right? Really, because they're just telling you what they do, okay?
Yeah.
When I started Arch Rival, the goal was to not be down any one of those roads. The answer could be architecture, the answer could be advertising, it could be graphic design. The truth is it might be a blend of all of those things. And so when I want problem solvers, I want people who see the world in the same way, who say, I don't know what the answer is, I'm not coming with any preconceived notions, but I'm gonna attack the actual problem.
So by attacking the actual problem, what you do is you basically put yourself, say if you're gonna be working with a business, you're gonna put yourself in that business's customer's shoes and try to look from their perspective as to what
Yeah, I
they
think
would
about all
want.
the consumer touch points, absolutely. But sometimes I think the business might be off too. You know, the business might be trying to force something the wrong direction, and our job there is to analyze as much of the marketing of the business, but say, is the product wrong? Is the packaging wrong? Do we need to change? Is there an market opportunity you haven't thought of yet? We are ingrained in youth culture, so we know what the consumer need is. And so let's say you have, Red Bull's a good example, they just had Red Bull, and we're saying, look, all your competitors are gonna start flooding the market with flavors. That's where the culture is headed with this. We want options. If you don't do this, you're gonna lose market share to these people. And so it's not an advertising problem in that case, it's a product problem. But if they came to us and said, we're losing market share of Red Bull, we want you to sell more Red Bull, well, that means, you know, do we go advertise? Where when we came back and said, you need to diversify your portfolio of products. We put ourselves, because we're problem solvers, we put in our position to be able to come up with answers like that, versus the ad agency who could never do that, or the interactive agency, or whatever, right? They're narrowed in on a solution, now you have to apply the problem and hope that it was the right thing. Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that.
So you guys were the ones that came up with all those new flavors for Red Bull?
So we push them to that. We
Push them
say,
to that?
yeah, we push them to that, and of course they do their own internal thing.
Yeah.
They've got to prove that and everything, but yeah, we sit there and knock on the door and say, you guys need to be doing flavors.
So do you like help them test that or whatever? Because I thought it was like really cool how we were down in Panama City.
We don't
Beach.
do the consumer testing.
Okay.
Um,
But
and
just like push those ideas to them, or is that just something that they came up with?
Yeah, no, we push those, yeah, we'll push ideas, like sampling ideas and those kind of
Yeah,
things.
because I thought it was really cool. I mean, there was always girls who were just handing out like Red Bull.
Yeah,
and,
so
like,
they have an
Red Bull
internal
bottles
called
and-
Red Bull Wings team, and they're the
Yeah.
sampling team.
Mhm.
That's existed from day one for
Oh,
Red
it
Bull.
has? Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, they do all that part of it. The team you interacted with was a Red Bull team,
Mhm.
yeah.
So from a Red Bull standpoint, they have like different sources that they get all these ideas from, and instead of, you took a group of, you made it like a bigger audience, because you took it from hundreds of colleges, you took students, and those students kind of advertised for
Yeah.
you, and you didn't have to do that, instead of them doing that guy that fell from like,
Yeah, which we did that as well.
you did that as well, and that was, I mean, everybody had to tune into that, but I didn't know about that until, you know, if someone from Nebraska was gonna do this traveling thing, everybody would know about it.
Yep, yeah, so, you know, this year was almost like a test year for that. We took 100 teams. Next year we may blow it out. We might try to do one on the East Coast in the US as well.
What
So-
kind of budget must they have?
You know, So the space jump, when we did that, everyone's familiar with the space jump, the guy jumped out. Our job there was to market it and advertise it. And so we ended up getting, so the previous record was, I have something to show you.
That was crazy.
The previous record was 500,000 concurrent viewers on a YouTube stream. That was the Summer Olympics of 2012. In October of the same year, we did the jump, and the jump netted, I think 8 million concurrent viewers. And that set the record, has been broke since. So that was like a huge thing. And our job was to make sure we got those views. You know, if you're investing in the space program, it was millions and millions of dollars. To do the jump, is that no problem? To do that jump, they want to make sure eyeballs are on it. And that's what the responsibility they handed us. Now on Can You Make It? The budget is probably $500,000. Everything. Probably $500,000. Yeah.
Just-
Next year's budget will probably triple based on the amount of success that we had this year, so it'll be bigger. Yeah.
So how do you like, so that's a cool experiment. Is there any way to calculate your ROI on that, or is it just like,
Fair question.
you just kind of?
Totally fair
stay in
question.
for it?
Right, you spend how much money you expect to return.
Well,
Yeah, you expect to build the numbers in somehow. We don't.
okay,
No way.
yeah.
We can tell metrics, how many people engage with the program, all those kind of things, but here's the real thing. We don't have a direct line between doing Red Bull Can You Make It and selling product. Not possible. But what we can look at is, say, for Red Bull, 30 years of doing this, and for us, now 9 years of doing this, we can say that we've gained market share, and we've increased the audience and the amount of cans sold. So, doing these kind of things, like the space jump, like Red Bull Airdrop, Red Bull Stash, Red Bull Can You Make It, these types of things we know over time are working. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing like with sponsorships. You know, they sponsor Blake Griffin or whatever. Like there's
You won't see it immediately, but over hopefully
time
some
it
years.
works. Yeah. Now with the downfall is when we work with like the state farms, you know, their company hasn't evolved to that. They're definitely, Intel's a good example. We did some work with Intel recently. They want to know how many 2-in-1s did we sell when we did this project in London. Like that's what they wanted to know. That's all they really cared about. And you know, there's something to be said about furthering the brand and bringing it inside, you know, getting it, all they cared about the sales. And so we had to try to draw a direct line as possible, which changes the creative, because now you need to have measurable goals along the way.
So like, I've heard it's like 9-10 times you see a brand before you like, whatever, something like that, so you guys.
I don't know the stat, but I believe that,
Okay.
yeah. But again, most of the brands we work with don't care.
Sure.
Adidas, Red Bull, Oakley, they just know that it works.
They just want to look cool.
Yeah, and if you waste all your time trying to prove analytics or worry about analytics, you miss the moment. You know, there's like a windows and times where things can work, and you just miss it if you're dealing with red tape.